Hey guys, it's Denise and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm not going to be talking to you about any of these beautiful plants here. I thought instead I'd shine a spotlight on some of my plants that just need a little work and maybe some of the plants that I'd put in my Succulent Hall of Shame if I had one. So by making this video, I'm hoping that you guys can relate. I think we all have a few plants in our collection that just need a little bit of work. And yeah, I thought by sharing some of my plants that you won't feel so bad about yours. All right, guys, so first up we have one of my Kittens Calico kittens. At first glance, you might think, okay, well, this plant is just a little bit stretched out, but there's actually a lot more going on. The reason this plant looks like this is because when I brought it inside, it had mealybugs, so I had to treat it a bunch. It was in the quarantine room, and then I kind of just left it in there. I didn't worry about it. It wasn't this stretched out. I wasn't sure I was going to repot it yet, and then I got sick, so it kind of got left, and our winter started off so dark. Our end of autumn and our winter was like we had no sun almost all the time. So all of the plants in my windows kind of went crazy. So this is one of the ones that stretched out the most, but also due to the treatments, I'm going to show you guys up close. There's a lot of dead leaves and other stuff happening. So looking up close, hopefully you guys can see there's just so many dead leaves under there. We have like dead stems. The soil just looks gross. Generally, the plant just looks really, really bad on the underneath because of the treatments. You can see it was a pretty color, but now it started to turn green and just doesn't look like the Kittens Calico's kitten should. If you haven't seen it before, I have another one and I'll grab it. So this is the same plant, and even though the ends have started to go a little bit green, you can see it's quite variegated, actually tricolor. There's a lot of pink on there, and it's a lot more compact. So just to compare it, so for the Kittens Calico kitten, what I'm going to do is first get rid of a lot of that dead detritus, dead leaves, anything dead basically I'm going to remove, and then I'm going to take some cuttings from the top and trim it back and then put the plant into a sunnier location. And once the spring starts, I'm going to repot this guy into some fresh soil, and hopefully he'll have a way happier summer and be mealybug free. So this is my sad looking Echeveria Adenoids lipstick plant. Many things happened to this plant. It kind of had a rough summer. This is the planter it's been. It was never really in a good, I would like to have it in clay, but it was in this plastic thing. So it didn't really drain the best, and it had a little bit of fungal issues. And then I brought it inside and it was doing okay, except for it started to be way too cold and dark in the window. So I brought it in and put it under the grow light, but because this is one of the plants that doesn't necessarily like as bright of sun as, say, an Echeveria Afterglow or something like that, it burned. So it burned pretty bad, and it wasn't even closer to the lights than my other plants, but it just did not like it. So that's what we're looking at here. There's a lot of damage, but the other side's okay, and it has been like this for a little bit now, so I know that the plant itself isn't damaged on the inside. So what I'm going to do to help this plant out is to absolutely repot it. Let me just give you a closer look. Should probably go without saying that as soon as I saw the burns, I did move it to a shadier location. So that was the immediate thing I did. But what I'm going to do is repot it and give it some good soil. This soil is just not good at all anymore, and it should just grow out of the burns on its own. As I said, it is in a shadier location, and looking here, you can see it actually has a pup. So it's just an aesthetic thing right now. Well, the burns aren't nice, but she should pull through just fine. Okay, so here is my Echeveria Afterglow, and although it might look okay from the front, once I turn it to the side, you can see that it is horribly stretched out. And this seems to happen no matter where I put this plant. This is actually a cutting that I beheaded, and it just stretched out again. It stretched out all summer in like the brightest sun on my ridiculously bright balcony that threatened to burn all my other plants. This guy still stretched out, and now he's doing it under my grow lights. So if anyone has any tips on how, well, I guess just get it closer to the light would be the best tip, but yeah, I don't know. So I guess what I'm gonna do with this plant is just leave him, because he's actually stretched to where he seems to maybe have somewhat stopped stretching. I don't know. So for now, I'm just gonna leave him. I'll probably behead him again in the spring, and then I'll use his stump, his stem. I will use his stem for babies because I don't have any extras of this plant, and that would be awesome to get more. So for now, he's just gonna stay a little bit stretched out, but other than that, doing well. So this next plant is a Senecio Candlestick plant. I'll put the name down at the bottom, don't remember it right now. I had to back up to get this all in frame. So what you are looking at here is a recently repotted plant that I tried to get all the sticks to go straight up in the same direction, but it was so hard. This has to be one of the most difficult succulents that I know to repot. If anyone else has this plant out there, I don't know if you've experienced this, but man, is it ever hard to repot. It has all these little pieces and none of them want to stay up and go the right way. So this is what I'm working with right now. He's kind of taking up a ton of space on my grow shelf. So what shall I do now? Should I just leave this plant? I'm not exactly sure. It looks like it's gonna start to just grow up slowly that way, but I would really like it to be more vertical. So I think once it's rooted in, because I don't want to traumatize it anymore right now, I'm just gonna take some cuttings so that I can start to just grow the plant straight up, and I think that would be a lot better and take up a lot less space. And yeah, hopefully this plant will be looking nice and pretty soon. It has the most beautiful leaves and has so much potential. So yeah, that's the Senecio Candlestick plant that is going a little crazy. So taking the next plant down, I found this little guy. Does anyone else find leaves like this everywhere around the house? I know I sure do. So moving on to two of my cacti, I have this little Opuntia here who has started to go extremely limp. He's been in my south-facing window. I do open the window on extremely sunny days to try to let some cool air in, but even though I've done that, he's still just dried right up. He is still very much alive. However, he just looks really, really bad, and he is just a tiny little piece, so I kind of feel bad for him, and I wanted to include him in this video. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to jump the gun and give him just a little bit of water to get him through the end of the winter, or if I'm just going to wait till mid-March when I usually start watering my cacti. I have super bright light, summer sun, winter sun, so it just lights up all of my windows, which all face the same direction. It's like a greenhouse in my apartment. So I can't really do much about the temperature. I try opening the windows when I'm home for a little bit, but then I don't want to leave them open for too long because then it gets too cold for my tropical plants. So yeah, we got a little bit of shriveling happening. Let me see if I can do a little bit of a close-up. So as you can see, he's just really, really shriveled. All of his new little growths are just, they're still there. They're just extremely shriveled. I've checked the bottom to see, and he seems like he's perfectly fine. So yeah, that's my little Opuntia, and I guess we'll see what he looks like in the spring. He's gonna plump up and be so beautiful. I can't wait. So this is my Cylindra Opuntia, and it is definitely the worst looking plant in my collection right now. It had spider mites all summer outside on the balcony. It had to have repeated horticultural oil treatments all summer. It kind of seemed to kick them near the end, and I did leave it out till it got pretty cold, but because of all the treatments, it started to get a lot of stuff built up. Tons and tons of perlite and dirt and all this really gross stuff got all stuck in the cactus, and I told myself, okay, well, I'm gonna get it out as soon as I'm done treating the plant. Well, no, it came inside, went dormant, and I just kind of didn't worry about it. And then I got sick, so it got put off even longer. So yeah, that's what's going on with this plant. Also, it's been so hot, it started to get really, really droopy. It's throwing out aerial roots, and I think if I can't cool off the room, I might have to give a little water. I'm not sure. I started watering this plant at the beginning of March last year, so it's February 1st today, so really, it's not that much of a difference. We'll see. But for now, what I need to do is peck off all the perlite and dirt. At the end of last season, a bunch of flies decided to go ahead and die on my plant. So there have been carcasses of flies all over my plant since the end of the summer, and I really, really need to deal with it. So they've just been like an ornament hanging out on my cactus all winter, which is pretty morbid. So I'd like to go ahead and remove those and just, you know, brush off the cactus, you know, make it look happy. And then, yeah, I think I'm actually just gonna wait on the watering. I don't know, what do you guys think? It was really, really dark all fall, and then it got all fall and beginning of the winter, but now it's sunny as heck, and that means my house is so hot. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna clean it up, that's for sure. If you guys wanna see the progress on any of these plants that I've shown, definitely check out my Instagram. I'll put the thing at the bottom because I post a lot of pictures on there. So an honorable mention goes out to this peperomia that has just stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched. So far I've shown you single succulents that are really in trouble, but I also have this one succulent arrangement that you see here that is a hot mess. There's a bunch of, you know, sticks hanging, oh! So yeah, it has all these sticks hanging out with little burrows tail things on the end, which always keep getting knocked by my grow lights. So yeah, there's that. And then let me just show you what the actual arrangement looks like. Okay, so this arrangement was something that I revamped in the middle of the summertime, and I left it outside thinking, I took cuttings from everything, and then I left it outside thinking, okay, well, I might not bring it in, like, the bottoms of the plant, if they die, that's fine. Like, I'm okay with that. I have the plant already living on in my house. But then I felt guilty, and it was basically, it ended up being the last night that my plants would have been able to survive outside. I grabbed a ton of them, like little odds and ends that were left outside, and brought them in. And that's what this arrangement was. So there's all sorts of random, like, crassula, sedum, all sorts of things in here. And they're all kind of just not looking so good. Let me see. I don't know. I've thrown a ton of things in after and kind of tried to fill it up, but it definitely needs help. It needs new soil. It needs to be reworked, but I'm not exactly sure what to do because it's so many random things. But for now, I think I'm cutting these stick with sedum things off, and that would help because I'm just dropping these little guys everywhere and my cat is going crazy for them. So yeah, there's my least attractive succulent arrangement. So that is all for today's video. Let me know, guys, do you have any plants in your Succulent Hall of Shame? Are they all looking beautiful, or do you have some that need some work too? I think we all have one or two in our collection that are just in need of some attention. I hope you liked the idea for today's video. I know it's a little different, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.